Mo Bamba was supposed to be the next big thing in the NBA. He was a 7'1" stretch big with a 7'10" wingspan, and NBA scouts were calling him Rudy Gobert with a jump shot. But now in 2025, the Clippers would trade Mo Bamba to the Jazz, and the Jazz would then waive him without ever suiting up for the team. So how exactly did this freak of nature go from one of the best up-and-coming prospects to an NBA bust? In high school, this is where the hype around his name started to grow. He was a 6'10" big man at the age of 16, and he was blocking shots with ease. In his junior year, he would average a ridiculous amount of blocks per game, and in one of the games, he would send 16 balls into the cheap seats. Next year, in his senior year, he would become one of the top 5 prospects in his draft class. ESPN even had him ranked higher on their list at number 3. Many college coaches loved his elite shot blocking and his defensive versatility. Many schools like Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan were trying to recruit him, but he would end up choosing the University of Texas. In college, Mo Bamba would continue to dominate on the defensive end. He would lead the Big 12 in block shots, and his shooting mechanics looked a lot better from his high school days. However, despite having an amazing freshman season, analysts would start to question his motor and drive. They would also point out he did struggle against the stronger and bigger centers in college basketball. Lucky for Mo, this had little effect on his draft stock. Coming into the draft, Mo Bamba was still seen as a top 5 pick. The Memphis Grizzlies were really considering taking Mo with the 4th overall pick. Mo Bamba would then make the biggest mistake of his life. He refused to work out for the team. He didn't give them his medical records and straight up told the Grizzlies, "Do not draft me, I don't want to play for you." Mo Bamba would say the main reason why he didn't work out for the Grizzlies was because he didn't like the fit with the team. This statement made zero sense. Many analysts loved the fit with Mo going to the Grizzlies, and some even said it was a match made in heaven. The Grizzlies were looking for their center for the future because Marc Gasol was getting old and his time in Memphis was coming to an end. So what was the real reason? Well, there was a couple of rumors going around in the NBA. Mo was trying to tank his draft stock so that either the Bulls or the Mavericks could pick him. The Grizzlies would end up taking Jaren Jackson Jr., which ended up being a blessing in disguise. Jaren has turned into one of the best defensive bigs who can shoot the 3 and create his own shot. The Magic would end up taking Mo with the 6th pick. Mo Bamba's rookie season was super disappointing. In his first game versus Miami Heat, he put up 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks, but sadly this would end up being the highlight of his year. Throughout the rest of the season, he really struggled to stay in the court. Often towards the end of games, he would be extremely tired, forcing the coach to have to take him out. He was also extremely bad on offense, shooting 40% from the field and 30% from 3, but the main problem was his defense. He had little to no impact on the defensive end. He would get completely manhandled by opposing teams' bigs, and the advanced stats showed the Magic were better with him off the court than on it by a lot. Mo would also go down with a season-ending injury, which was a stress fracture in his shin. In year 2, things got even worse. He was averaging less points per game and was shooting worse from the field. On top of all of that, he was showing a major lack of effort on the court. He would often not give it his all on many possessions, whether it was not getting back on defense after making a stupid mistake or being lazy on the glass. He wasn't showing any toughness to even fight through the contact on rebounds, and at 7'1" would only average a measly 4 rebounds a game. He would also settle for jump shots way too often, sometimes never even looking to score at the rim. However, there were some good signs in his sophomore year. He had improved as a shot blocker and wasn't picking up as many tic-tacky fouls and shot 36% from 3, a big jump from last year. Next season, once again, Bamba was stuck being a backup center. The exact same problems were occurring and fans started to call him a bust. Then the Magic would finally trade Nikola Vucevic. Mo Bamba would start to get more minutes and he went from 5 points to 11 points and 3 rebounds to 8. This was the glimmer of hope Magic fans were waiting for. With Nikola Vucevic gone, maybe Mo Bamba was finally going to break out. Next year, Mo Bamba would have his best season ever, but sadly, this didn't tell the full story. Despite putting up some nice numbers, Mo Bamba was still very inconsistent. On one night versus Sixers, he would drop a 30 bomb on Joel Embiid's head, knocking down 5 threes in the process, and just a couple of games later would have a whopping 3 points versus the Grizzlies. There was also another center on the Magic roster who was putting up very similar stats to Mo. The Magic would run them together at times, which kind of worked, but the Magic were usually better when only one was in the lineup. That offseason, the Magic would land the first overall pick and would draft Paulo Banchero. This meant that Mo and Wendell Carter were going to be fighting for the minutes at the center position. Unfortunately for Mo Bamba, he would start the season really struggling. His shooting splits were down from last year and he was getting into fistfights with Austin Rivers. This huge fight would lead to the NBA suspending Mo Bamba for 4 games. With Mo out of the lineup, this allowed Wendell Carter Jr. to establish himself as the better player. The Magic would then trade Mo Bamba to the Lakers, and the Magic were officially throwing in the towel and were done with the Mo Bamba experiment. Mo Bamba would play 9 games for the Lakers and then would suffer a high ankle sprain, causing him to miss the rest of the year. That offseason, the Lakers would waive Mo Bamba's $10.3 million non-guaranteed contract to save money. The Sixers would sign Mo Bamba in hopes to turn him into a decent backup center. But unfortunately, that didn't work out either. Mo just didn't possess the proper qualities to be a good role player. He lacked hustle and toughness, which led to him being out of the rotation, especially in the playoffs. Next season, he would join the Clippers, and it was the same old story. And like I said before, the Clippers would trade him to the Jazz, and he got waived. With Mo Bamba not having a home in the NBA, what should he do? Well, I think he should take his talents to the EuroLeague. Lately, we've seen an uptick in former lottery picks going to Europe and developing their games. If Mo wants to keep his pro career alive, this is the route he should take. And who knows, maybe he can go overseas and come back a completely different player. Speaking of guys going overseas and coming back, Guerschon Yabusele is a great example of this. He went from being a bust to being one of the best role players in the NBA. If you want to hear his story, click right here.